Hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to our architecture tour of Dishonored. At the last video, we came out of the sewers, and now we're gonna talk to Samuel. So Samuel is gonna tell us a little bit of context as we talk to him. So just pay attention, and then
I'm
we'll.
Samuel, and I work for some good people who want very much to meet you. They said you'd come out here. I could still hardly believe it. I'll take you to meet them. Just down the river from here.
Right, down the river. So yeah, so we'll look at architecture after we get some introduction from Samuel. So downriver, okay, downriver is that way. Upriver is that way. So the palace is upriver, and now we're going downriver, right? Right, got it. Oh, it gives us this too. We don't care about that. The Hound Pits Pub is where we're going.
This is the Hound Pits Pub. Closed for business. Half the district marked off as dead from the plague. We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing. Of course, if anyone finds out what we're up to, the Watch will break in with swords drawn. And now that you've escaped, the Lord Regent's going to be tearing the city apart. Take you up to meet Admiral Havelock and the rest of the Royalists. The Admiral's a man to be reckoned with. If anyone can help you find that missing girl, Lady Emily, and clear your name, he can.
Right. So did you hear what he said? So the district, half the district is closed off because of the plague. But now that we've escaped, they're gonna try and find us. They're gonna tear up the city to find us. So this is like an abandoned part of the city. That is the story. Let me just come back here and have a look around. Try not to. There are things in the water that will kill you if you try to swim out there, by the way. Or maybe it's the water itself that's dangerous. So we came from down there. There's half a bridge. Isn't that interesting? Where is that bridge? So where's the palace? Is that the prison? Is that the palace? Oh, that is the palace. Can you see it? I can barely see it. Maybe you can see it. So we are actually on the opposite side of the river. That's weird. Oh, downriver is this. That's the weirdest thing. So the game switched around. we left the last sequence going that way, but then the boat actually came around and turned around and came out this way. So there's the prison. You can barely see it through the smog. I don't know if you can see it through the video. There's the palace. That's the boat elevator that we went up. And then there's the metal tower that we could see from the palace behind the buildings. Do you see that? So we're on the other side of the river now. And if you remember, from the palace, there were these factories and smokestacks from the other side of from the palace. So now we're on the other side of the river, and now we can see those smokestacks are actually brick. They're brick smokestacks. They're not metal smokestacks or concrete. So this is early Industrial Revolution, right? So the factories themselves are built using the old technologies, the old architectural technologies, which, you know, once you can start making all the metal, then you can start building new factories in metal and new smokestacks in metal. So this is old architecture. This is old Industrial Revolution, I mean. How interesting. Can we see other smokestacks around here? So things like that iron bridge. So as you can see, you know, I was talking about, well, why was the old bridge, like, you know, either they fell down naturally or was demolished? It's because, I suppose, they're going to replace the old stone bridge with a new iron bridge. And, I mean, you might be sad about losing the old stone bridge, but it does make sense because the iron bridge would be cheaper to maintain, and it would be bigger and stronger as well. So in a way, it does make sense. Like an old bridge, sometimes the maintenance on the old things is gets so out of control that it's not worth repairing anymore. Although if you're interested in architectural heritage, you wouldn't say that. You would just try and keep it. You would just try and keep the old building like this. Not sure what the building used to be, but all that's left is a little corner of the old building. That's actually kind of weird. The fact that that this remains standing, despite the rest of the building having fallen down. It's not usually the case that a small corner of the building can stay standing like that, because like the whole building acts as a structural system, right? Like you can't just take away half the building and expect the other half to stand up. Sometimes you can do it, but it's unusual for that to be the case. Usually the stairwell or the elevator shaft would be the strongest, because elevators are heavy, and so the elevator shaft has to be constructed more solidly. But that's not an elevator shaft or a stairwell, so it's a little strange why that thing is standing like that. Alright, so we're at the side of the river, and you can see that the city is mostly built right up to the river, right up to the river's edge. And there's even like factory things going into the river. What does that say? Daiga and Dale and Dial? Daiga and Dial Company. I don't know what they make. I wish I knew, like, because the factories would make more sense if you know what they made. Like, is it a textiles plant? Is it a paper factory? Is it a... I mean, there's a lot of pipes. Which means, I mean, I'm assuming the pipes mean that they're drawing river water. Or, I mean, they discharge stuff out as well. So, things that involve a lot of liquid would be things like paper making and maybe like a leather tanning. It also creates a lot of pollution, by the way, leather tanning and paper making and things like that. We're not sure what this stuff is, or what they're making back there. There are more sewers down there, but we're not going to go through there yet, because we can't. Hound Pits. So pre-industrial cities often relied on waterways and canals because, what transport options are there? I mean, there's trains, but trains are industrial era. There are boats, there are horses and legs and carts. But like a horse is literally 1 horsepower. It's not a lot of power. Like it's a lot less power than a modern car. So if you want a horse to carry or to pull your carts for you, you can't really pull that much stuff. So if you want to move a lot of goods around, usually it's by boat, and then by canal. Or by canal, it's more efficient. So in the early industrial and pre-industrial cities, waterways are really important. And so, like having a gate and a sign by the river actually makes sense. Like, it doesn't make sense now because today everybody drives around in cars, right? But back when boats were a viable form of transport because there wasn't really cars, like this is not surprising that the entrance would face the river, the entrance to the building. Although if you notice, this doesn't actually do that. This is actually the back door. Because like the Hound Pit is here, but this is not the front door. Let me just wander around the backyard here. Maybe we can find some clues as to what these factories made. Oh, cigars? Cigars. Let me just look over here. So there's like a walkway over there. There's a building in the river. I wonder about that. I mean, what would that be? Like a water pumping station? I don't know what that would be. So this says cigars. The Hound Pits. Oh, dogfighting. They do. So it's not just a name. They actually do dogfighting. I think the dogfighting ring is in there. But here they say cigars. Sophisticated. Refined. And then Emma's Hardware. For all your handwear needs.
sundown to sunrise.
Alright, so hardware and cigars. Maybe they don't make cigars here. This, I think, is meant to be a factory building, but maybe it's been abandoned and turned into dogfighting. Because I can't imagine a 3-story dogfighting building. It doesn't make any sense. So I think it's an old factory that's been converted into a dogfighting ring. And the bar, I think the bar was always a bar. And there's oh, we should go inside before I talk about it. There's another building out here. We're supposed to go in there.
I expect they're hard at work in there. Best join them. They'll help you get whoever really killed the Empress.
If you say so. Let me come out here.
Welcome to the Hound Pits Pub, sir. How may I help?
Hello, sir. I am Wallace, and this is Cecilia. We have been informed of your arrival and will do our best to stay out of your way while you conduct your business.
Yes. Lydia's a servant here as well.
Servants, right. Yeah, so this building... it's a little strange that this remains standing after the other parts have fallen apart. It is actually a lot strange. Also, where would the rest of the building be? Would it be in the river? Because it's not here, like the foundation is not here anymore. I mean, okay, this is the foundation here, but it's not very wide, is it? It's only... The building is what, 3 meters wide? That's a bit weird. This is... Okay, the foundation is here, and the foundation ends here. It's not a piece of the foundation. So this building would have stretched that way, except there's not that much room that way to stretch out. And there definitely isn't any room out this way for the building to stretch out, because there's another building there. This is odd. This is really odd. I mean, if there's like a ruined building here, and there's a foundation here, that would make sense, but there's another building here. Which means... I mean, unless this was partially demolished and then this was built afterwards. But why would you not demolish this as well? I mean, it's inexplicable from an architecture perspective. From a game story perspective, we know that later on, the princess lives in the tower, which... Sure. It's more poetic than logical. And then there's more small buildings back there. So you can see the Edwardian stuff. That's weird. So this is a warehouse, right? The Pratchett warehouse, whale meat in tomato sauce. And that's probably an office building then, I guess. So there's warehouses by the river, which makes sense. Let me see if I can climb back over here. And then we have streets. Although we have stone falling into the streets, this is a bit weird. So the street just kind of ends here. There's no clear termination to the street. That's super strange. Super strange. Like it just disappears into the gravel. wait. If the street continues, why would that be? That can't be there. If the street has to end somewhere around here. But if the street ends here, why don't they make it end? Why don't they just make it disappear into the gravel? That's quite odd. Let me not pay too much attention to small details. Alright, so here we have the city. The backs of buildings. And we have streets. And we have tramways. Isn't that interesting? So there should be trams in this city, except that everything's blocked off. As Samuel said, a lot of this district is blocked off because of the plague, so I guess the trams don't run anymore. But the trams used to run. There's no overhead electric wires, so these might be horse-drawn trams.
Attention, citizens of Dunwall. The old
And that is a thing. In fact, can I find it? Like if I go to Wikipedia, let's go to Google. A horse tram. Yeah, look, horse-drawn trams. Horse tramways, the horse cars. So it might be horse cars, which is super interesting. Alright, so it could be horse cars, or it could be whale oil, like who knows, right? But it's not electric, is what I mean. The detailing on these city buildings, I mean, it's a little bit extravagant. Like, even the doors have little capital things, and like a decorated keystone, and then like pilasters and then things like that. Although on this one, it's just a brick wall with doors on it. So there's a mixture, right? Like some buildings are slightly fancier than others. These brick things are not as fancy. Oh, these downpipes. These are lead downpipes. I mean, you see the square? Well, I mean the geometry just disappears. You see the rectangular cross section of these downpipes. They are downpipes, right? I think they're downpipes. So unlike the circular cross section of the downpipes at the palace, the rectangular ones I think are less expensive, and if they're lead downpipes, then they're also less durable, but easier to work with. Lead being a softer metal. If I remember right, lead downpipes usually are rectangular. Maybe I'm wrong. I seem to remember it like that. What does that say? We are the only authorized agents for Harold Blythe's hand-carved limbs in this part of the city. If you or a loved one has lost a limb at sea, waging war against the terrible beast there, you will be delighted with Master Blythe's work. We accept coin only, no trade, no barter. Alright, so they make prosthetic limbs. Or they used to. It's closed now. Report any sickness. Hiding the plague is punishable by death. Well, that's reasonable. Although if they have the plague, they would die anyway, so... Piero's remedies... Alright, a lot of background information in the posters. So this is also closed off. We can't explore the city. So this is like the front of the Hound Pits Pub. And you notice there's a sign there. And I guess there's the front door. There's also another front door there. So this is like a small piece of the city that's been cut off. Hound Pits Pub in a industrial district, I believe, although some of those buildings back there looks kind of residential. I mean, it could be like on the boundary between residential and industrial. Should have been quite lively before it was closed down, because... Wait, fluorescent lights? Fluorescent lights? That's a fluorescent. Wait a minute. Wait. This is inconsistent. This is inconsistent with the technology in the game. Why would they have fluorescent lights? When were they invented? Fluorescent. I can't spell. Okay, well, fluorescent lamps. When were they invented? Early discharge lamps. Well, early discharge lamps. 1903. Oh, maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it is correct. Although those particular 1920s, all the major features of fluorescent lighting were in place at the end of 1920s. Decade of invention and development. 1934. Successful experiments. So no, that's the background. The patent was issued 1931. Metal vapor lamp. I mean, it didn't really... Sales of fluorescent luminine lamps commenced in 1938, and 4 different sizes of tubes were put on the market. They were used in fixtures manufactured by 3 leading corporations. But the fluorescent ballast was made after the war. Yeah, no, I think it's a little bit anachronistic. I don't.
Do not attempt to
Those fluorescent tubes, I think, are in the wrong part of history. But you know, maybe it's just whale oil. Who knows, right?
They will be taken to the flooded district for treatment.
Anyway, let's look at this building. So it's a pub. It's a pub, and I think it's also an inn, a tavern and an inn. Oh wait, dogs. Wait a minute. The street sign says no dogs. There should be dogs back here. Why would that building be there? There's no dogs back there. Okay, this is whack. This is super whack. There should be dogs there, but I mean, I guess if this wasn't closed off, then there would be dogs. But then this building would be in the way. No, this is strange. Anyway, I'm just gonna assume that they changed the design of this place during the development, and so some of these signs are no longer consistent. Alright, let's take a look at this stuff. What is this? Posted notice. The rules of conduct here are expected for... I can't really... Anyway, it's code of conduct. Welcome to Hound Pits Tavern of Dunwall. Best whiskey of the city, dogfights every evening. Dogfights every evening. Opening hours, 8 AM to 11 PM. Wow, that... 8 AM to 11 PM, those are long hours. In light of recent and terrible rat plague, this establishment is closed to the general public until further notice. Once the plague has passed, we will happily take your coin again and provide you with nights of debauchery and merriment. Admiral Farley Havelock. Alright. So it's closed because of the plague. Jellied eels, fresh. Brined hagfish, grilled whale, blood sausage, pickled quail eggs, dark bread. Hound Pits draft. So they make their own beer, I think is what it means. Mulled cider, sugared wine, Dunwall brand whiskey, emerald absinthe. Alright, nice. So if we go inside, we will find, as you might imagine, a pub. it's not complicated. Let's just get this out of the way. We need these guys to shut up. Let me skip the conversation.
Yes.
Oh, goodbye.
Piero's as much an artist as a technician. He's going to be
So this is a pub. It's a little bit dark, and the dark wood paneling is rather luxurious, but also makes the whole space rather dark. And the windows are either dirty or deliberately darkened. I mean, it's a pub. I don't know what else you want me to say. There's alcohol back here, and apricot tartlets, beer on tap. I mean, that's pretty good. Hey, look at this. That's fancy. Look at that.
nothing against you.
And there's the dogs, the dog fighting. I mean, it's pretty fancy. Like, look at the tiles, and look at the glass, and look at the little detailings, and the detailing on the panels, detailing on the door. So this is a relatively fancy place. I mean, look at these chairs. I'm assuming it's leather, not plastic. And look at the detailing down there, and the stools. So back in its heyday, this is probably a rather nice place, right? It's not a...
Talked to Piero yet? He made the weapons we left for you on your way out of Coleridge Prison. Go see him when you can.
It's a little bit fancy, this place. Which is good. I mean, that's nice.
Attention all citizens. Curfew extends from sundown to sunrise.
And I suppose it's meant to... I suppose it's meant to evoke the things that the city has lost. because of the plague, like this place is closed, right? So you can kind of imagine it used to be a lively pub, and there's enough money flowing through this place to produce, decorations like this. So I mean, it's a good business, or it used to be, but now it's blocked off, and it's the plague, and nobody comes here anymore. So it's supposed to evoke that sense of loss, I guess, of things that are no longer the case. And back here we have brewing, fine wine in barrels, right? So I think this is where they make the beer. And there's barrels of stuff. What is this stuff? Let me just look at this. Well, there's dates on them.
Attention, citizens of Dunwall.
What does that say? Okay, more dates.
To the evacuation list. The Weeper count
Dunwall
for
whiskey.
has increased. The
Alright.
local region has
So there's
decreed that
whiskey,
plague ordinances
and there's, I think,
will
beer
remain
in there,
effect
and there's
through the
fine
month of
wine.
May. Stay alert and stay loyal.
So right next to the pub, they have their alcohol storage, which is great. Come over here. Look out again at the landscape. Let's go through this building. So upstairs we have bunks. So I think this is both a pub and an inn where people can rent rooms and stay. There's a bath and a toilet. You'll notice it's wooden, right? It's a wooden bath and a wooden toilet. And remember in the first video how I talked about the metal furniture in the garden of Dunwall Tower, and how metal furniture is a new thing in the industrial era. I mean, it really is, because you might imagine, well, why wouldn't they have like a metal bath? Because metal is still expensive, it's a new thing, and so the wooden bath, like it's wooden, is not ceramic. I just tapped the mic, sorry. It's not ceramic, it's not plastic, it's not metal, it's wood. So that indicates, I mean, it gives us some indication of the amount of wealth and the amount of money, and also the level of technology in the game. Like here, like there's a metal tap, and the rest of this I think is ceramic. And the toilet is wood as well. There will be a bucket down there, so it's a bucket and a wooden seat, and that's the toilet. So no running, well, no sewage. No piped sewage, but there is running water in the tap, right? And no hot water going straight into the bath there. So we don't have modern plumbing. We don't have running hot water, and we don't have flush toilets. So that's a level of technology that we are talking about. The wallpaper is peeling, which is a little bit disappointing, but also not unexpected. Hey, look at that painting. That's dramatic. A sheet over the furniture, and as we said, bunks. So dormitories, and also, I guess, rooms if you wanna. Well, this might be the office, but there is a bed here, a bed with a fireplace, and books. So I don't know if this is meant to be like a hotel room, or if it's like the residence of the tavern owner. Not sure what to make of this. I think this is meant to be a hotel room. Although, I mean, if it were me, I would have 2 rooms here. I mean, there's enough space here for 2 rooms. And you can make twice the money if you have 2 people sleeping here instead of just 1, right? I mean, if you're in the business of running a hotel. Oh, these are hotel rooms. Look at that, 201. Alright, these are hotel rooms. 201, 202, and then 203 is the shared bunks. Okay, these are hotel rooms. Got it. And then the next level up. 3rd floor, wait a minute, we turn from... Alright, no, that's fine. Plaster over brick. So brick construction, it's an old building. It's not, it's not concrete. It's definitely not steel. So old brick construction with plaster over the bricks. This used to be rooms, but we can't go through there anymore. And then up here, more bricks. Wooden beams and wooden ceiling. And then this is the attic. You can see the shape of the ceiling here. So we go from wood, or go from brick to wood. In fact, this is structural wood. Structural wood columns holding up the wooden ceiling there. And Corvo sleeps here. Corvo is us, by the way. Our character is Corvo. There's a bed there, but it's lined up there. Maybe this is more another dormitory. I'm not sure. There's only 2 beds here. Again, if this was a real hotel, I would expect them to try and fit more people into here. And down there is the alcohol storage, as we saw earlier. Alright. So, I mean, it's nothing... Wait a minute. Is it a duct? Why would there be a duct? Is it mechanical air conditioning? Like, why would there be a duct up here? The duct only makes sense. Wait, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes nowhere. I mean, parts of this game is good, and then parts of this game is just weird. Why? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, if there was like an opening there, I don't know. Oh, more ducts. I mean, there are other ducts. Like here, if I remember right. Look, there is air conditioning. Look at that. Wait a minute. Is that historically accurate?
Attention all citizens. Curfew extends from
I don't think that's historically accurate.
unless you are otherwise authorized.
Because those are electric fans, right? Those aren't...
And detained when necessary.
Wait, do we have electricity in this game? I guess we do. I mean, there's the fluorescent tubes again. I'm not 100% sure. But are these air conditioners? Are these meant to be air conditioners? I'm not sure if this stuff is historically consistent. I mean, that's an electric light, right? I mean, okay, there's electric lights. There's electric air conditioning. I suppose? Maybe it's new. Maybe electricity is still new. But we don't see a lot of wires. I mean, there's some wires. I do see some wires. Are they wires or just ropes? I'm not sure. I think they're just ropes, actually. Look, I mean, that's not an electric lamp. That's a gas lamp, right? It could be that electricity is still new, and so it's not universally used yet. It's a little bit strange. Some of the stuff is seems inconsistent. The level of technology. But anyway, there's this air ducts. Hound Pits. Tavern. House. Is that what it says? What does that say? Yeah, Tavern House. Okay, so the game wants us to come back here and talk to Piero. So behind here, there's a workshop. I'm just gonna skip that.
From upstairs, please, while I hold this in place. Be careful. The oil's unstable. When it explodes, there is a terrible mess.
Right. So they explain whale oil to you. Oh, I can't open that. The game... Oh, we can't even leave. So funny. So the game explains whale oil to you, and it also explains this mechanic where you can pick up fuel. So you see that. This glowing stuff is whale oil. And it serves as fuel for much of the technology in the game. Are these electric lights?
Now plug it in.
Okay, so there are electric lights. I guess there is electricity.
Just get it near the receptacle. Magnetism will... Perfect. Thank you, Cole.
Oh, I'm gonna skip that again. You're not making anything for me, thank you.
You must be exhausted.
No, dude.
I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can.
No.
Very well. You know best. Let me know if you need anything more.
Right, so this drill is powered by whale oil, not by electricity. But there are electric lights. And then there's this grinding thing. Oops, wrong button again. Oh, you can activate it. There's the grindstone, which I don't see how it is powered. Dunwall Market, I don't know what that means. And then hand tools. I mean, I guess it's not too important. But there is electricity and there's fluorescent tubes and there's air conditioning, or at least there's mechanical fans, mechanical ventilation here. This. Alright, so I think that's all we need to see about the Hound Pits Pub, at least for now. I mean, it's not that interesting. It's just a pub. It's just a pub, or it used to be a pub and a hotel. And now it's been abandoned. But there's a lot of details, and we can kind of read the history of the pub in the architecture. Like, it used to be quite a fancy pub, but now it's, you know, abandoned or half abandoned and run down. Alright, so we end our tour of the Hound Pits Pub for now. I'll see you in the next video.